Hello and welcome to a very bonus edition of the Shattergate podcast. Because I know we said Halloween Kills was next, but you know, there's another spooky movie come out before that. Well, not before that, because technically that came out after that, like a whole year after that. But I mean, before we watched that. Anyway, we're gonna be doing something different first. So I'm your host, Dragon Thomas Hughes. I'm joined by the lovely Hayden Lickler here. Because today we're gonna be looking at the new Marvel horror movie that's come out, Werewolf by Night.
Grr.
I think they call it like showcase presentation or something like that now. Basically, like a long one shot, which comes in at 55 minutes long. So it's a short film basically. I think they refer to it as a television film more than anything. If you Google it, it literally says television film. And yeah, it's all being honest here. I fucking loved it.
It was good.
I absolutely fucking loved it. When I watched it by myself when it first came out, I was like, I'm really into this. This is like really fucking good. And then watching it back, just the same mindset is that is really fucking good. I mean, I'm a big fan of the old school monster movies like Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, Wolfman, Creature from Black Lagoon, Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera, those sort of ones. So this, like, as soon as they were like, oh yeah, we're doing like a homage to old school monster movies from like the 20s onwards, I was like, okay, I'm in for this. I'm all in for this. Let's see if they get this right. And honestly, they get it exactly right. I mean, it definitely feels like I'm watching one of these really old ones, obviously just with a bit better quality. Because obviously there's a lot of, obviously from the black and white presentation they go with, to obviously some of the screen burns.
Yeah.
Like the music choices. A lot of this makes you feel like you're watching one, like the old Wolfman or something like that. And the practical effects of it also make you feel like that, because obviously back then they wouldn't use digital. Yes, there's a few digital shots in this, obviously.
It kind of has to be, because they still want to make it look like it's part of the MCU.
Obviously the main digital shots are mainly Man-Thing, obviously burning people. Some like touch-ups on him entirely.
The magic of the Bloodstone.
Stuff like that. But all other than that, like Jack himself is all practical. That's just a guy in a werewolf suit, which again definitely gives me vibes of like the original Wolfman. And a couple of scenes in the remake of the Wolfman that used the practical suit rather than digital. So it definitely does give me those feels. And obviously, as I say, with the fact that they used a practical Man-Thing, obviously just a bit touch-ups here and there for the
face and like the tentacles.
And for stuff like that. It definitely gave me sort of like vibes to stuff like Creature from Black Lagoon, which I'm a big fan of. Like, I'm a really big fan of that movie. So it definitely like gave me those vibes. I mean, it's crazy that this is directed by a music composer. Michael Giacchino, who did the music for Spider-Man Far From Home, No Way Home, previously made in Homecoming, the Jurassic World trilogy, the Batman. I think he did Lightyear as well recently. I think he may have also done The Incredibles. Like, this is like a well-known music composer who's done a lot of big movies, like scoring them, never directing them. So obviously that's kind of a gamble on Marvel's behalf, going, okay, we want you to direct this for us. That there alone is a gamble.
It paid off.
But it paid off. It helps as well. I feel like, especially with him composing the soundtrack as well, he can film it and go, okay, I know how to do this and I know what music can make this pop out a lot more. I mean, one of the scenes I really liked is the scene when obviously they're picking who can go face the monster first. And obviously Jack gets it. And there's that guy, the massive, like, fucking, like, trombone thing, like, looks like something out of the Grinch, like one of those sort of ones, and he's there walking around like it's like really like gothic and sinister, like fire coming at him. Like that is like the music on top of that makes it like stand out really well. And all the scenes obviously towards the end when obviously Jack fully transforms into the Werewolf by Night, that music over the top of these dark shadowy figures of obviously him in the standing there, and obviously the shadows and running around.
Yeah.
That music makes it stand out. So it's another great score from Giacchino.
I do like the transformation scene because you don't really see it in person; you see it in shadow form. The flashes of the magic, and it's like you see the shadow changing. It's very, very classic, like classic monster runs where you don't really show it transform, but you show the shadows. And
that's what they released a trailer a few weeks ago, like a just behind the scenes trailer, the director talking about it, and he mentioned stuff like that because a lot of these old ones you don't see it on screen. You see a lot of these shadows, and that's scary. And he does that with this. Obviously, the whole idea with the shadows, it kind of reminds me of stuff like Nosferatu.
Yes.
When he's walking up the stairs, and you just see the shadow of him walking up the stairs. I don't know, a film they're remaking soon. Robert Eggers and a few other people.
Back to shadows.
But yeah, obviously, it definitely gives you those sort of vibes. And you say these other like monster movies where you see the transformation off screen rather than stuff like American Werewolf in London, where you see the on screen, or The Howling, like those ones where it showcases like a practical transformation. Obviously, this doesn't go that route. It's like, okay, we're not gonna we're gonna show you a bit like little snippets, but we're gonna focus more on
the shadows,
the shadow effect,
and also like Elsa's face watching it.
The night, everyone's reaction to it, yeah. Because obviously it doesn't just show us; it shows other people's reactions to what they're seeing. Obviously, obviously the old woman, obviously the other bloodstone, obviously you see her reaction straight away when she finishes. She's like, "What the hell?" And obviously her reaction when he actually attacks her, she's like, "He's pulling my arm." And obviously you see all the hunters like reacting because like they've kind of never seen anything like this before. I'm guessing. For all these other monsters that you get to see around the walls, which is quite cool, little Easter eggs, little references like to other monsters around. But it's like I'm guessing they've never come up against anything like this before, so that's something like new for them to see. So that's pretty cool to see. Even they're like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this thing?" And like they just treat it as like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna take this down." Like it's just another stupid monster. But it's instantly shown that it's not. I mean, when he bursts out the cage, and he's just there, the whole scene of like panning around, like, where is he? Where is he? And you see the eyes in the darkness jump down and attack everyone. I mean, even that first hunter, Gus Frim, tries to take him down, instantly gets dropped. Like he doesn't even get like a chance to get any like attack him. Really, gets his ear ripped off before obviously getting killed by Elsa. Like it just shows that they were so unprepared for anything like definitely. This. Like there's a big fucking like swamp monster outside, but they're not prepared for something so smart.
Yeah,
that they're expecting some like dumb monster, but he's not. He's still human underneath, so he's got that smart thinking. And obviously, that side of him is his pure rage, which is just like you got no chance of stopping this, no chance whatsoever. Which is proven by every fucking guard getting dropped. I mean, the blood stains over the camera is like phenomenal. And obviously, just slowly working his way through every single one, like acrobatically. Like it's weird because usually these werewolf ones you see him just like rip through them, but he's like jumping around, like he's like doing. He's actually fighting as if he was like an actual like superhero. Like he's like doing these combat moves, and he's just like that's a bit different to normal ones, but it's usually just like a slash or something. Like the slashes, but he's like throwing them like around, like he's like doing these sort of moves. It's like really cool to see. It's just really good to see. Obviously the cool thing as well. Obviously they spent the first half hour building up this mysterious character. Obviously Jack, like he's like really silent type. He's apparently got over 100. Give or take, confirmed deaths. Compared to
rivalry with some vampire.
Compared to all the other ones, there he's got all their kills combined, basically near enough. It's very mysterious. And obviously, you got the dead corpse, which is like a big Marvel character. So I'll be rotting for you. Sorry, bit of graveyard humor. Obviously, it slowly builds him and obviously Elsa up. These two mysterious characters. Elsa, obviously, Bloodstone, who is kind of not liked by the Bloodstones because she abandoned the name and has basically fucked off. Whereas Jack is, as I say, this mysterious hunter. And it's not really until he encounters really Elsa for the first time that you're thinking, hold on. I mean, cause the woman literally says, basically, everyone for themselves. So essentially, that means you come across another hunter, you kill them. But no one left standing, apart from you and the stone. And when he first comes across Elsa, he's just like, I suggest that we just go our separate ways. And she's like, what? And he's like, I suggest we go our separate ways. And then the Scottish guy attacks and he just fucks off. He runs off. So that's like, you're like, okay, something's not right here. And then when obviously he encounters Man-Thing, when he bursts through... Ted. When he encounters Ted, when he bursts through obviously the bush and grabs him, you're like, what's going to happen here? He's like, hey buddy. And he's just like, how many times have I got to come and save your ass? He's like, okay, what the hell's going on here? He's a hunter, but he's okay with this giant monster. And then it slowly builds up to obviously the fact that, okay, no, he's actually a monster, with the big reveal of, obviously when he goes to grab the Bloodstone after they obviously saved Ted by blowing up the wall. Obviously when he grabs it and it blows him away, and you're like, whoa, and it's like, okay, he's a monster. They make the comment of, there's a monster masquerading as one of our own, so that's like, so that's why he's like being like he's not actually a hunter, he's a monster. I mean, as I say, you can tell by the fact he's not a hunter by some of the stuff he does. I mean, the whole bomb, he's having to like, how do you use this thing? And she's like, oh, you just click it. He's like, oh
shit.
Okay, just stick it, throw it at the wall and it'll stick. Throws it, bounces off the wall. Keeps resting it on the wall, it keeps falling off. I was literally there going, just pull it in the fucking crack! I genuinely was shouting at the screen saying, just put it in the crack. Anyone with any mind would just go, there we go, and run off. I was literally yelling at the screen the first time I watched it, telling him to just rest it in there.
I bet like everyone else is thinking, why is he shouting? Just put it in the crack. Shouting that out loud.
No one was here, so it's fine. It's fine. No one was here to randomly be yelling.
Next door neighbour's like, what's he getting up to?
Lot of porn.
Just hurry up and put it in the crack. I'm getting flaccid.
I've had enough of this goddamn story. You've been going for 10 minutes just talking. I think I picked the wrong porno. He's actually fixing a fucking plumbing. Oh, fucking hell. But yeah, I am very interested to see where they go with bringing this fully into the MCU, because obviously
the dark side of it.
Kevin Feige's literally said that this is like actually like going to be interconnected very heavily within the MCU, and it's just like, how is this going to actually happen? Because I mean, Blade obviously is an easier example, because I mean, Blade was going to be in this.
Oh yeah,
but they had to cut it because of the actor couldn't film anything. Apparently, they're fucking struggling with that film at the moment. Okay. The director left. Scheduling, so they're having to get someone else to come in. And apparently the actor's like really pissed off with the script or something. Like apparently the first draft is like really bad.
So, I hope they get better.
I mean, it's going into production within the next like month. So it's got to get better. It's due out next November. Jeez. It's got to get fucking better. So hopefully, I mean, I don't know. True, some of those rumours are though. Hopefully, it's not. It's like the cobblers, but still, obviously. It's going to be interesting to see where they bring Jack and Ted into it in the future, because this isn't set in the past, so it's all black and white. At the end, you have the song "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" by what's her fucking name? What's her name? The song for fucking. She's in fucking Wizard of Oz. But there's a film about it, like last year, I think it was.
I don't know.
Not Judy Andrews, is it?
That's
Nanny McPhee.
No. Judy Andrews is what's it called?
Judy Garland, that's her name.
Yeah,
that's the name I'm after. Who did I say?
Judy Andrews is like fucking Princess Diaries, am I remember correctly?
I don't know if I spelled the name. Sound of music. So I'm close. I picked a musical. It's not the correct musical. Yeah, Judy Garland. She had a film about not long ago. obviously obviously Somewhere Over the Rainbow kicks in as
Mm.
Elsa's like hand starts to turn to colour, and the
Mm.
whole it's like everything around her is still black and white, but she's in colour. And then
Mm.
next minute it cuts to like the middle of like nowhere in the forest, where obviously Jack's just waking up, and obviously Ted's just sat there with a cup of fucking tea for him. He's like, "Here you go, mate. There you go. Nice one." They're having a little conversation. Ted's like, "Oh, that's come to save you." He's like, "No, he didn't." He's having this little argument, and then
I mean, you guess that's what he's saying, because that's what
he's saying.
You don't
Yeah.
actually can't
It's
understand him. It's all, you know.
I mean, the only time you can sort of understand what he's saying was when
Mm.
he's like, "Where is he?" That one. It kind of sounds like a. Ugh. That definitely sounded like a. Where is he? And it's like, oh, he went that way.
He went that way.
Those sort of ones you can definitely sort of gather that he's asking that sort of thing. But that one, obviously, is like a conversation. He's like, I can't think of. He's like talking about his dinner. He's like, I can't think of food right now. He's like, okay, I'll get you sushi. You deserve. He's like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, no, you pick the place, mate. You pick it. I was like, how the fuck's he picking a sushi place? He's a giant monster. I'm guessing Jack's has to go in and order takeout. I'm guessing Jack's gonna have to go and order some takeout.
It's the Hawk reading the skies.
But obviously that whole ending's all in colour, which is like, okay, no, this is set present day. I mean, as I said to you when watching it, I think they updated the Disney Plus for after Love and Thunder, so it's gonna be that then Black Panther, so it's actually like present, the most present there is, and that makes more sense than being the past and trying to bring it into the future. Obviously, this is the black and white is there just as the homage to the old school Universal Pictures monster movies with the old Hammer and stuff like that. Which is fine by me.
Because the characters themselves are based off those kind of films and stories.
I mean, the acting is pretty fucking top notch in this. Where's his name? I need to get the actor's name. He's playing Jack. Jack's played by Gael Garcia Bernal, who was in the movie Old by M. Night Shyamalan last year. He was the dad in it. And he's really good in this as Jack. I just find it funny that his name is Jack Russell. I literally, when I was talking about it today, because I got asked at work, like, oh, did you watch it? And I was like, yeah, it was really good. It was really fucking good. And I was like, he's like, is it based on any characters? I always get asked the same thing, is it based on any characters? And I was like, yeah, it's based on a character called Jack Russell. And I walked off and all there was, what, the dog? I went, yeah, he's named after the dog. I know it's ironic, but every time I like mention the character's name, so his name's Jack Russell, like the response always is, "What, the dog?" I was like, "Yeah, no, they generally call the character
joke.
He's generally a joke version, so they call his name Jack Russell, which I find hilarious. Obviously, he's really good as Jack, and then when he goes full monster, it's like really fucking good. Obviously, they use sound effects for the wolf noises, but I mean, physical wise, he's like a brute. And then obviously as Elsa, you've got Laura Donnelly, who I believe is an Irish actress. Northern Irish actress, yeah. She's been in a few things over the years. No, she was in the Bill years ago, and like Casualty and stuff like that.
Bill.
Merlin. She played Freya in Merlin.
Oh my god.
See the Bill. Casualty. But yeah, obviously she's really good as Elsa. Obviously this snarky character who's like kind of gives me Black Widow vibes of a fighting style.
Yeah.
Especially when she's fighting the big guy, the Scottish one. Obviously she does those flips and like wraps herself around him and takes him down. Like that is really good.
That's like even like her weapon as well. Instead of like having it's like a fucking that saw blade kind of like we get the chain.
Yeah, it's just the spinny.
Grapple hook.
Yeah, the grapple hook that she steals.
Even that's very Black Widowy.
The Scottish guy does some special effects for Return of the Jedi. Was a producer on some Star Trek. He wrote the Muppets Tonight. He's been in quite a few things. He was a punk on the street in Homecoming.
God. Maybe
he's in that TV series Dinosaurs back in the day.
Oh my god.
He was a gremlin in Gremlins. Wow, he's actually been in quite a few. I don't even recognise him. I'm just looking at some of the cast here. I'm just like, I don't even recognise this guy, but he's been in loads of stuff. Kirk R. Thatcher.
It could be his character. He plays his own character in Homecoming. It could be our headcanon.
Well, the one who plays the stepmom, Harriet Sansom Harris,
Yeah.
she was in Addams Family Values. Apparently in Supergirl, an episode. Desperate Housewives. It's quite like they've been like the cast have been in quite a few things by the look of it. Then, it's I don't recognise them. Oh, he's in West. I do recognise him. Obviously the Asian guy, the one the first to die by Elsa when she obviously chops his hand off. Which I'm gonna get to the violence in a minute with some of this. That guy, I didn't realise he was in Westworld. Not, I was looking at him there and was like. Especially when it says like 2016 to 2020, so that was series 1 to 3. I was like, who was he? He was the one who befriended Fandy Newton's character in the underground bit. He's one of the ones who works on like the androids in the underground part of Westworld. He's one of the ones who works on that, and he was like quite a obviously nicer character than most of them. And I was like, I didn't recognise him in this, but now obviously knowing that, I'm just like. Oh shit! No, now I do. It was also ironically in Swamp Thing.
Was it?
He was in the TV show Swamp Thing. The irony of that, for the fact that Swamp Thing and Man Thing are very similar.
Oh, basically, they're basically the same character, but one's DC, one's Marvel.
He was in Swamp Thing. He was also in the Iron Man VR game.
Oh. Think though, what came first, Man Thing or Swamp Thing?
I don't know, but he was also in Hawaii Five-0. I can Google it for you.
It's like
Man Thing.
Obviously,
Man Thing first appeared in May 1971. Swamp Thing. Would help if I spell Swamp Thing right, not Siamp Thing.
Ah, Siamp Thing, my favourite character.
This is my favourite, yes. Swamp Thing. Yeah, first appeared in July 1971. Didn't I say Man Thing was 71? Man Thing was first by 2 months.
Oh my god.
Man Thing was literally 2 months before Swamp Thing.
First, and Swamp Thing was like, that's correct, the exact same character,
but who can talk
without tentacles and tusks can talk.
So obviously Swamp Thing can talk, can't he?
But
yeah, I still can't believe that's the guy from Westworld. But yeah, obviously we can go back to the violence now. Obviously, as I was on about just when looking through the cast, it like for a Marvel thing. I mean, it's TV 14, which is that what Moon Knight got? Moon Knight was quite
brutal.
Moon Knight got a 16, which I'm just gonna have to go on Disney Plus itself to see what what they rate it on as, because obviously TV 14 means different over here.
Oh yeah,
because our ratings are completely fucking different. For us in the UK, it was a 16 plus. So that's, I believe, what Moon Knight got as well.
I think about it, kind of gets away.
Yeah, 16 plus Moon Knight got. But obviously, yeah, it fucking goes for, as I say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You get that guy gets his hand cut off, gets a fucking arrow in his neck, and she's there holding him as he's dying in her arms. Obviously, fucking 2 people get burnt alive. Obviously, people get ripped apart by a werewolf. But I know what you're gonna say when you said they get away with it, because I had this same discussion with someone at work, and I was like, they can get away with all this blood because it's black and white.
Yeah, the big thing is if you want to have blood in a film, and you want kids to be able to watch it, make the blood different colour.
This is like a teens almost.
You know what I mean? Like if you want the people's like teens, you want it how it's got at least a 16, and not making it 18. You gotta have different colour blood. That's why a lot of horror films that they want people to at least be able to watch it, not 18. But the aliens will have different colour blood, or there'll be monsters that don't really bleed. They just like puff and smoke and stuff. They're trying to avoid using actual red. A lot of things, even a lot of kids shows, they will, if they have blood, it'll be a different colour. I can guarantee it won't not be red. So obviously, it's being black and white. They can get away with a lot of blood.
Yeah, that's what I said, because I got asked was it brutal? And I went, not brutal, but I mean for something Marvel, it was quite a lot. And I was obviously that's when I was like, but they can get away with it because they're black and white. You slap black and white on stuff, and you can get away with a lot of stuff. That's why I reckon they went more black and white. Cause I was reading this morning, and apparently the director obviously was always up for the black and white side of it. But obviously at first Kevin Feige didn't want it in black and white, but obviously eventually got convinced to do it in black and white, and obviously, as I said, that works for the blood aspect because they can get away with all these. I mean, as I say, there's blood splattering the camera. Doing that, the hallway scene when he's just splashing through fucking like 4 or 5 people. It's like blood hits the camera. You put that on a normal thing, then that's pushing them. Might go, I don't know, yeah. Might have to up the rating a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would, because I wouldn't really say it's brutal. I definitely feel like it might have still stuck.
You'd be surprised.
I mean, Deadpool's like worse, but it's probably just about the same, and that's a 15 over here. So personally, I think it probably would get the same sort of rating. I don't think it would get an 18.
Over here, I think in America, it probably would push it. But over here, because our rating's different, but in America, I probably would push it.
R ratings, theirs, isn't it? Whereas most of the time when they get R ratings, it's like a 15 for us.
So
I think the worst rating is X, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very rare someone gets an X rating though nowadays. It's like more the old movies where you watch them back and you're like, why is this like an X rating? It's fuck all, really. But yet it's got this X rating over it. It possibly could push an R in America if it went colour-wise. But as I say, it'd be like Deadpool. It'd be pushing that R rating, whereas it's TV 14, which isn't too bad. That's realistically like just like a 12A. Just like it's around that area. It's like between 12A and 15, which probably is at 14.
Yeah, it's like American ones are a bit more stricter with certain things, and it's a way over as well. They probably would have had to cut some of the gore if it was not in black and white. Because they will tell them.
The blood.
Yeah.
Not the gore, because I wouldn't really say it's gory.
No, but a lot of the people who make the ratings, and they review them, and they'll be like, okay, if you want this specific rating, cut those bits out. Oh, I know that. That's why they always have those shots where people make ones that are a bit more exposed, like say the tit shot, where they show loads of nudity and be like, well, if we can cut that out, keep that gory scene in.
Or the way around.
Yeah.
You can cut the gore, keep that titty scene in. No, I've seen a lot of documentary when they talk about stuff like that. I watched the Friday the 13th documentary that talk about every movie, and it spoke about part 5, the fact that there's obviously some gore and there's a lot of nudity, and they're like, okay, you can keep like this like rating, which was like R or something stupid like that, but you have to choose one or the other. Cut the titties or cut the gore. They cut the gore. They went titties all the way, which makes sense because it's made by a porno director. It kind of makes sense that he'd choose the titties over the gore.
Typical.
Yeah, it makes sense to why he'd choose that over that. That's why some of them are kind of tame in terms of nudity, because they chose more of the gore side of it. But yet the one they get a porn director to make goes, I like me boobies. Give me more boobies.
Oh.
It's true. Watch the documentary.
Classic horror film.
It's a really good documentary, not gonna lie. I mean, I think that obviously hopefully should be releasing the documentary on this at some point soon. Because they always did the
making of kind of.
Yeah, what they're called though. They've got an actual Marvel Gallery or something like that.
I think so.
I know I watched a couple. I watched the WandaVision one, which is pretty good.
Yes.
I saw the Loki one. And I think I saw the Falcon and Winter Soldier one, I believe.
Yeah, I remember you putting it on.
I watched the first 3. I need to watch the other ones, like What If and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, I watched those ones. I think that they are doing one of this as well. I'm guessing that's where that one clip came from, where he was talking about the homage with the shadows, and I'm guessing that's from that documentary. I might have to check that out when it comes out, because that's going to be a pretty good documentary. So I like with Marvel at the moment. I like the fact they're doing these behind the scenes of the movies, the TV shows. I really do like that, because they don't have to. They could literally just slap some commentary behind the scenes moments on DVDs and Blu-rays. But I like the fact they're actually going, you know what? We can actually get like a proper like hour-long special out of this, like giving all the behind-the-scenes secrets of how we made this movie. I know that obviously they've done all the Disney Plus shows. And I know they've done some of the movies. So I think they've done Shang-Chi, Eternals, Doctor Strange had one recently, I believe. I think Thor had one recently as well. Black Widow had one, I believe. I think it's from Black Widow onwards is when they started doing these. So obviously WandaVision all the way through to, well, I'm guessing obviously Werewolf by Night, She-Hulk with the next ones to get on, and then after that would be obviously Black Panther. I mean, that's probably going to be a really good one because there's going to be a lot of insight in that to do with how they worked around his, obviously, Chadwick's death. That's going to be very interesting. But I definitely looking forward to the documentary on this one. Ooh, I don't think of anything else. You think of anything else?
No. We've literally spoke about everything, I think.
I think so.
We talked about music, talked about visuals, obviously the whole black and white being, how it can help them with all the gore.
I think the only visual for me that is a bit dicey is the woman's death at the end. The CGI doesn't look top notch on it, but they can get away with a bit more because it's black and white, so it doesn't look as shit.
Again.
When the head rolls onto the screen at the end, that looks a bit dicey, but a black and white kind of saves it a little bit. But it's one of those things where it doesn't hinder the rest of the movie. Like sometimes you'll watch them and the CGI will really hinder it, and you're like, oh, that makes the movie even worse now. But sometimes you watch something, you can go, that's not too bad. Like you guys are screwed now. Like to me, that doesn't hinder Infinity War.
It's like it's funny because like, oh my god, that was so bad, and then you continue the whole thing because that whole
or even
scene
the one from
is amazing.
Civil War.
Yeah,
the Iron Man and Rhodey in the armor with the heads exposed. Like, that's not the greatest CGI in my opinion, but that doesn't hinder the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those CGI moments that doesn't hinder the movie because the rest of it is spot on.
It's like how you said that the whole fort entrance. Obviously, when he says, "Oh, you guys are so screwed," even though that is quite awful looking. That bit, the entire scene overall is probably one of the best scenes in the film.
Yeah.
So even though that little bit does go kind of weird, soon as that bit's gone, you forget about it because you're focusing on all the better, which is a lot like this film. You
focus on everything else but that. It's
a bit weird, and then as soon as that goes, you completely forget about it because you're focusing on the rest of it. You're sucked into it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get to the ratings then. It's pretty simple for me, really. I honestly highly rate it. This movie, it's like television movie. It's very weird to say I really highly rate a television movie. Usually television movies, these crappy movies you find on like Channel 5 on like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, these murdered ones like, oh no, I've lost my memory, but someone tried to kill me 5 years ago, now they're back trying to get me again. Like these crappy ones that you sometimes see on TV. Or these like really low TV Christmas movies you get each year. Like when you think of TV movies, you think of stuff like that.
You think of like a film special from a TV show, and you're like, okay, why did I do this? It feels like a completely different theatrical show, like that one fucking that Tracy Beaker film. I remember that they did a film.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, and it was like it felt like a completely different thing because they introduced her mum, and it's like. I thought the whole point was she's gone.
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, it definitely feels weird saying that I highly rate a TV movie. But Marvel did it spot on this. It feels not like Marvel. That's what I like. I mean, it's completely different to anything they've done so far. It definitely gives me vibes to when they tried the horror with the likes of Blade. And even the Man-Thing film. They did do that into a film years ago. Even it was a massive flop. But it still attempted something, and it still was something different.
Because back in those days, like the more horror side of the Marvel was more popular than doing superheroes. Because back then, superhero films were seen as cringy, cliche stuff.
That's why I did Blade.
X-Men.
That's why I did Blade. And obviously, Blade is the more successful one. Whereas Man-Thing was just a disaster. But at least it was something different to what we're getting now, and this brings that vibe back of this is completely different to everything around it. And I like it for that. And it's definitely up there for me this year. It's like a contender for number 1. So I generally for that I'd have to give it 10 out of 10. A Dragon's Egg because I am just amazed of how good it was. It could have been ended so badly because of the black and white, trying to homage too much to the old stuff, but for me, that made it so much better.
I like, cause obviously there's a big balance of it's a big homage, yes. But there's also that hint of Marvel, like how the only thing that is in colour for the entire film is the Bloodstone. It's the only thing, the magic that comes off of it. Like even like when the magic hits, obviously Jack, it's goes from orange to white.
Yeah.
The actual when he's transforming, that magic is just like part of the film. Whereas the Bloodstone, it stands out. And I like how they use that, and it gives that sort of MCU feel. Like when obviously WandaVision, when they would have the black and white scenes, and only Wanda's magic had colour. Very like I liked it, like how they. I would like a bit of colour pop.
Yeah,
I mean that's in scenes. So I would agree with you. In 10 out of 10.
You generally are giving it.
I loved it. I like werewolves as well, so that's a big thing.
I'm honestly shocked you gave this 10 out of 10 because I know when we spoke about this when I showed you the trailer, you're like, I'm gonna have to try and stomach this because I don't like black and white movies.
It's not I don't like black and white movies. It's more they hurt my eyes.
But still, that's the kind of case of you don't like black and white movies because of that.
Yeah.
And when you say that to me, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a struggle for you to watch.
Yeah.
I'm probably expecting maybe you're like, okay, it's still good. It's like a 7. It's between 7 and 8. But I'm honestly shocked you gave it up.
I'm being objective about it. Yeah, what did kind of hurt the eyes, but that's just because this specific style choice didn't agree with my eyes. However, it still visually looked good, and like I said, I do like a bit of colour pop, and like I liked WandaVision. Those first 2 episodes were black and white. Some of those ones where like for an hour I can stand it. A bit more, it gets a bit strainful. But I liked the story as well. I liked the characters, and I like werewolves.
And so it's a very basic story, but it works.
Yeah,
it fucking works.
It's like a big pilot.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, a big pilot episode where it's like establishing those 2 characters.
But it can go into your pilot ranking because it's not technically a pilot.
We know that.
Wow, that makes it so much simpler. That gives Werewolf by Night the Chatter Cave overall rating of 10 out of 10. Have we given like an overall like a hot Jurassic Park? I think was the only other one.
Yeah.
This is our second. Is that our second one then?
Probably.
Of the year. Well, it's very rare we agree on 10 out of 10s. So Werewolf by Night, you should be pat yourself on the shoulder because it's very rare we agree on a 10. Usually there's usually either like a 9 for one, 10 for the other, or an 8 for one, 10 for the other. It's very rare. It's close. It's usually like a good distance away. I mean, the biggest fucking difference is probably the Transformers animated film. When it was you and Alex like so far below 5, and there's me. That far ahead, and obviously, thankfully for Connor, it's what gave it that more reasonable scoring. Pat yourself on the shoulder, Werewolf by Night. Just don't claw yourself in the process. Okay, MVP. Ted. He stole the show. Ted stole this fucking show. Like, there's so many other good characters. Like, I could give it to Elsa or give it to Jack, but Ted came into this. Like, you just hear the roaring at first, and then you get to the hand, then you get to see his face.
Yeah.
But then, for the fact he's like just a big lumbering mute, he's got this like little personality. It's like really good. It's
very Groot.
It's very Groot, yes, just with a better voice.
And everyone loves Groot, so it's basically technically the same character, just both big tree things.
Just a swamp tree rather than a tree tree. Okay, runner up. See if Elsa or Jack.
I'd say Elsa, because technically, I'd say Jack is more like the Hulk, where it's kind of 2 people. Because it seems the wolf is more like how the Hulk is a different personality of Anna, like a different aspect of his personality. I would technically class them as 2 people, like Jekyll and Hyde. It's the same personality, but 2 sides of it. So
I kind of see it that way.
Whereas Elsa, I think she's a lot more established in the episode, in the film, technically. Yeah, in the film, she's obviously the one we get introduced the most, whereas he's more of a mystery until the werewolf side. she's more established. We learn more about like her family. She's just strange from the dad and stuff. I would say her.
Okay, I'm gonna agree.
Okay,
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I know I overruled you when you sat out the Halloween one. I know I overruled you on that one, but I can kind of see where you're coming from with the.
Yeah.
If you're gonna give it to that one, you technically have to give it to both at the same time. You have to split it as two different ones because Jack is different. Jack's a more Marvel like comedic character, whereas the Werewolf by Night is more of a not Marvel comedic character, more of a sit. Like, I like to see it as Jack's more of a Hawkeye early on, and Werewolf by Night's more of Ronin.
Oh, it's more like Moon Knight. Literally, Stephen and obviously.
Yeah, because that's how we do with that as well. Then we have to split it between the personalities.
A lot like that.
So yeah, I can agree with Elsa. She's definitely this very snarky character that's quite humorous to watch and very badass. And
she kind of reminds me of Jessica Jones if she got her shit together.
Jessica Jones meets Black Widow.
Yeah.
Right. She got the snarkiness of Jessica Jones, but the fight style of Black Widow. Yeah, I agree with Elsa on that one. I'll give it to her. Okay, favourite moment. I'm going to give it to the first time you see the Werewolf by Night. The first shot. Obviously, you get these little moments, the little shadow moments, but it's that first shot when they're all standing there after he's just took down, obviously, that one guard, and he's just standing in the darkness, so his arms spread, and he's just like looking at the camera. I'm going to give it to that specific shot. That shot is just like so fucking good. It gives me a lot of really like chills.
So me, very, very close to that shot. The actual transformation.
With the
shadows. I like the way they did it, because not just the shadows, but it's the fact that the shadows are flashing.
Yeah.
And it's the big homage to the whole old ones where like it's more of like a still frame, like you see different parts of the transformation, but you don't see it fully.
Wow, I love how like it's so like
they're very
connected.
close.
Like, we're connected. Same rating, and we can both agree on we've agreed on a lot of stuff in this podcast. Like if you watch any of our podcasts, it's very rare we agree on anything. You wouldn't think we were a couple. You'd actually, then again, you would think we were a couple. We're not agreeing on anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But this is like a once in a lifetime. This is like pretty like Joker or Logan, the ones that we actually fully mentally agree on. Jesus. Okay. Okay. So my question is, and again, I've already asked that in that. I was going to say, would you like to see more horror in the MCU? But I technically asked that sort of question because I do like asking questions about Chatgate and the Hayden Show, and I kind of asked that question already in Hellstrom. So I'm going to ask a different question. Would you like to see more of these Marvel presentations, these 55-minute specials? Because apparently they are rumored to be churning some TV shows that we're going to make into these. They were going to do a Wakanda spin-off that apparently they might turn into this. They were going to do a spin-off about the sister in Shang-Chi. Apparently they might be turning it into one of these. So would you like to see more of these one-shots involving not just technically characters we've already seen, like I was going to say these ones that they're on about converting, but would you like to see ones like Heather Than with Jack? They've utilised a kind of obscure-ish character and give him the limelight.
I think it'd be good for those. Like, it'd be good for the ones that not many people know about.
Then they don't take the risk with.
Yes.
Like this would have. Like, and obviously they took the risk with stuff like Ant-Man and Guardians back in the day. I feel like if these were out now, these presentations, that's how they would have probably done them. I don't think they would have done them as a full film. They would have took these chance on this because it's going to be a bit cheaper. So yeah, would you like to see a lot? Would you like to see a lot more of these presentations? And if so, what character would you like to see get a Marvel presentation showcase? Whatever the bullshit thing they called it now, the big one shot I like to call it. What character would you like to see get one of these? I'm trying to think myself here. Like one that would. Let me look at my Marvel Funko cabinet.
I think for me.
No, they're all MCU ones. Oh no, I mean, your Spider-Man Noirs fell over.
Oh no, not Noir. I think like for me, it depends on how they do it. Because if they introduce Ghost Rider into the MCU,
that'd be
if they're going with the obviously the one for Agent Shield, it'd be cool to see one on Johnny Blaze. of the origin of, or just, like,
yeah,
of the previous
that would be really
rider.
cool. That would be, and
Yeah.
then at the end, like, it shows you this information where he passes it on.
Yes.
That I would, yes, yes,
So,
1,000 times yes.
yeah.
Because I'd prefer to see either a movie or a full TV
Yes.
show. Like,
on the
of
Ghost
the
Rider,
Ghost
we're gonna
Rider.
follow.
But if, as you say, they are doing one where it's not the original rider,
Yes.
it would be cool to see that. Or if they do it, imagine if they did, remember the first Ghost Rider film, the Cable Rider.
That's what I was
Imagine if you
thinking
got
as well.
one of him.
I think if you're doing Johnny Blaze, then maybe
Give
do
him.
the previous one and then show him.
Giving it to Blaze.
Yeah.
Well,
or if it's.
well, sorry, don't give it to
depends how they
Blaze
do it.
because technically the devil gave it to Blaze.
Well, that depends on how they do it.
Yeah.
Because if would that be just exactly the same as the Nicolas Cage one? They might want to do something different.
1,000 times yes, 100%. I honestly can't think of a character off my head that I would like to see get one of these ones, but I agree.
So I was thinking, like, Ghost Rider is one of the ones where you want to see a full series, a full proper film. The one we're going to follow.
Yeah.
But it's always good to do a little origin.
Yes. I'm gonna agree on that one. We're two in sync on this one. This is ridiculous. Just imagine if fucking Sony had actually gave Marvel the rights, because then they could have sacrificed Morbius to one of these.
Oh my god,
that would have been they could have risked it on one of these 55-minute ones rather than a fucking proper film.
That probably would have been better. They'd be like, oh, we can't really afford Jared Leto. Let's get someone else instead.
Yeah, they would have gone probably for someone less big, like
better,
like someone who's not like this guy's. I think he's obviously he's not the biggest of actors, but
it's like the one you were saying. All these people you were showing, they're not the main characters of a film. They tend to be
they're not big stars
characters,
but they're good actors.
Yes,
that's sometimes what you need. These films, you need these big stars to carry. I.e. Mario movie.
Yes.
That's why they got Chris Pratt, big star. So that's why they've used him. Whereas something like this, a TV movie, you don't need that big name to sell it. You just need to go, hey, Marvel, TV movie, it's free.
So maybe Morbius would be a better
choice for one of these. Like, even like if that disaster as well, the Craven and Madame Web one, probably would have been better. Same with the El Muerto one. Probably would have been better in one of these formats. Come on, Sony, up and sell your rights back to Marvel. Come on, give them back to Disney. Come on, you know you want to. Fox gave up. Fox gave up that much. They fucking shut down.
They gave that shot. Oh, can you just take our entire
just
company?
take our entire company and fucking have it. But yeah.
Disney there staring at the PlayStation going, I'm going to have you at some point.
Yes. Okay. Well, that is it. Put your thoughts and feelings on Werewolf by Night in the comments below, and obviously your answer to my question in the comments. Obviously, you can check out this extra podcast on obviously Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Audible, the usual podcasting platforms. And check out Friday, where we're officially doing Halloween kills. But obviously, this month's going to be a couple of bonus ones here and there. Because there's some stuff we need to cover that are basically out, and it's kind of, I want to cover it now. I'll explain to you one of them in a minute. So yeah, obviously check out that on Friday. Yeah, we hope you enjoyed our podcast, and we shall see you next time.
Bye.